Man, what we gonna cook today?
I think some good sandwiches sound excellent right now.
Sandwiches? We ain't no dang sub shop.
Well, Jared?
Didn't y'all go hunting the other day?
Hunting? Man, we ain't getting nothing. All right, guys. So we got that Wesco turkey. We got them. Today we processed out, took everything else off, got just turkey breast today. And we're gonna do something very, very, very simple. So what I'm gonna do is, without cutting the skin, is I'm just gonna start separating this skin from the meat, just like this. You can kind of see my finger through the skin. We just want to separate it because what we want to do is get in there. I'm going to put some butter in there and rub some seasoning in there, and that's going to help keep it moist in there and bring a lot of the flavor under the skin as well as on top of the skin. All right, so we got that pretty well loosened up. So what we'll do now, what I got here is just some butter, and it's butter and just some seasoning, a little bit of lemon pepper seasoning, and a little bit of herbes de Provence. I think that's how you say that in there. So we're just going to take this, and it should be a little bit chunkier than this, but I kind of melted it a little bit too much. But we're just going to put it up underneath the skin right here. Take our hand and kind of work it all up in there. Massage it in there. We're going to do this on both sides. Now, if your meat's pretty cold, it'll kind of solidify again pretty quick, and it'll hold itself in there long enough for it to, penetrate and do what it's got to do. All right, and same thing on this side. Rub that butter mixture up in there. We'll take some of that butter mixture, put it in these cavities back here. Same thing on the other side. You could put some underneath inside the cavity, but with us not having the whole bird together, most of it's just going to come out of there anyways. Now, what we're going to do is inject with a homemade marinade. And if you ever injected anything, you know how it works. Just kind of as you're putting it in, you're pulling it out a little bit, and I usually go about 1 inch by 1 inch blocks. And because this is just the breast, I really do recommend injecting it, because it doesn't have the rest of the carcass to help keep a lot of the moisture in there. So when you cook turkey breast by itself, you do wind up losing a lot more juiciness from it. So it's always a good idea to inject your bird, the turkey breast. Kind of like if you do just chicken breast, it's real easy to dry out just chicken breast alone, as opposed to if it was on the whole bird. All right, that's good there. Now, for the outside, this is not season all. I just use a container. This is our all-purpose rub that we're using for here. And it's good on chicken, pork, beef. We've used it on fish before, and it works really well on just about anything. It's got a little bit smoky flavor because we do use some smoked paprika in it. Now this, you do want to get on the inside of that cavity pretty well, because a lot of this will stick, and will help flavor it up from the inside as it cooks. All right, there's a turkey breast seasoned up. We're about to go throw it on the Wood Creek grill, the Cuisinart Wood Creek 4-in-1. All right, y'all, so we got the turkey breast here. We're going on the Cuisinart Wood Creek with it. We got our smoker tube burning right here. Now, I'm cooking this at 225, and I'm gonna set this right here. Now, if you watched our other video, you'll know halfway through, this is my real hot spot. So I'm gonna leave this turkey breast away from it, because it's gonna start dripping. When it does, I don't want it anywhere near that hot spot, because this particular grill, the way the baffle plates are set up, it's very easy for that grease to get down in by the flame. Once that happens, it's all over but the crime. We got 6 slabs of spare ribs. Last rib video, we cut these down in the St. Louis style. Today we're not doing that. We're just kind of leaving them spare ribs, but I'm gonna do just a little bit of trimming on it. Little ends like this that are real thin and skinny. That junk's just gonna burn on the grill, so we are gonna do that. We are gonna take this flap off the back side and maybe just square the end right there. That's pretty much all we're gonna do. We're gonna leave the breastbones on them, take some of this extra fat off and whatnot, but that's what we're gonna do to get started today. So hang out and watch the show. All right, guys, so we've got the ribs trimmed up. Like I said, this ain't nothing fancy. We ain't making no St. Louis style, nothing special. We're just feeding some people today at the house. So these are our spare ribs trimmed up. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put on our secret barbecue rub. This is the RedBeard barbecue rub that we make. It's you know, it's got your basic stuff in it, but it's got some good old things you wouldn't really expect in a rub. But it is phenomenal on ribs. And we're just going to put a healthy coat into this. It does not have a tremendous amount of salt, so we can go a little heavier on it. And I know a lot of people tell you they season all sides of their ribs. If you're doing competition, yeah, I don't really get all that involved because we usually do some sort of glaze halfway through. So that flavoring from the glaze will get all up on this as well, so on the sides. So I don't go crazy with getting the seasoning all over the sides and everything. This is more or less just top and bottom deal. And I don't go nowhere near as much on the bottom, especially because I did not remove the membrane on these. I do for competition, and I do when I'm experimenting with different recipes, just so I can see how that flavor is when it gets into the meat. But for what we're doing today, we're working on some vehicles, or a vehicle, and a guy coming over to help me with it. We're gonna feed them, and we're gonna hang out with some friends and let the kids play later on today, and everybody gonna be eating. Now, one thing I will say about this rub is it's got a fair amount of brown sugar and paprika, which really helps with the coloring on these without burning. You know, I typically fill my ribs about 225 to 250, about 3.5 to 4 hours maybe, and then one thing I forgot to do to all of these is score this membrane in the back here. If I don't remove the membrane, I do make sure I score it. If it doesn't, you do not come close to getting the same effect, but you do get some flavor in there on that side. It's just too cool out here, and I don't feel like removing that membrane right now. That's all we're doing. That we don't put nowhere near as much on the backside as on the front. You do want to kind of rub whatever seasoning you're doing into those little cuts that you make on your membrane side. Whatever you can get in there you want to. I think I'm going to try something a little bit different today. We are going to utilize the pellet grill later for these. Normally I always wrap my ribs in foil. Don't use butcher paper too much for ribs because we eat them here at the house. We like to make them fall off the bone. And you get the best results with that by using foil. It speeds up the cooking time, but also keeps all that moisture in the meat and none of it seeps out, so it allows it to fall off the bone quicker and easier. But I'm going to try with at least 2 of these ribs, maybe 3, not wrapping them at all the entire time and just keeping them wet with a spray or a mop and see what kind of results I get from that with the same seasoning that I've got on here, because I'm gonna wrap them, especially doing competition style like the last ones we did. We put butter and brown sugar and I think maple syrup on some of them and wrapped them, and that made a huge difference in the flavor. So I'm going to do that again with 2 or 3 of these, and the other ones I want to try with just either a spritz or a mop or something, but not wrap them at all and let them cook through on the pellet smoker on the wood creek. Hey guys, so I'm here with Jared. He decided to join the party.
About time, right?
About time. And we about wrapped up on these ribs. And this turkey breast is glorious, beautiful turkey breast, right? Chill. These ribs are just about getting ready. They're just about right.
It smells so good.
And we're gonna do a reveal on these in just a few minutes. On this wood creek here, just proof that you don't need nothing fancy to do some great quality food. This turkey took about 3.5 hours at 225 degrees. If you could hear it, you'd hear that skin is super crispy, super flavorful, and because we injected it earlier, it's going to keep that juiciness inside the turkey. And these ribs, I judge my ribs, like I said, when we just eating at the house, we cook these ribs fall off the bone because that's the way we like them here. This ain't competition barbecue style, but these ribs, when they start to bend like this, and we can see that they're just flopping around easy, we know that's very close to being fall off the bone ready. And here in just a few moments, we're gonna unwrap one of these and show y'all exactly what that looks like. Hey y'all, Johnny here with RedBeard. So we got these ribs done. So we're gonna open them up right here. Don't mind the children in the background. We got a bunch of kids, a bunch of youngins over here right now. Well, look at these ribs, y'all. This is how we like them. All right. So how we cut them up, or at least how I do it, is remember, these are done as spare ribs, not St. Louis style. So breastbone is still on here. So what I do, I take my knife, come right through here, cut out that breastbone, just like that. All right. Get a breastbone, then we start cutting ribs. Just like this right here. Crispy, and I think we showed earlier the texture of the skin, how you can hear it's nice and crispy. Makes it keep that skin crispy throughout the whole process.